Our next guest is a very good friend of mine. He's a successful CEO. He runs an IT company here in San Diego. He's also a very big human rights activist, and he told me something recently that I could not believe. I checked on it, couldn't believe the research I found, and I had to bring him here today to tell you about it. Please welcome Cmac Kamami. Cmac, how you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know you, so I know you really well, but I want you to tell the people who have never met you before, give a little bit of a background on you and kind of where you came from and how you got here.
So I actually grew up in Iran, in an Islamic country, until I was 17. And then I moved to Mexico City until I was 18 and a half. Like a year and a half I was there in Mexico City. And got a chance to see a different environment at that age. Being teenage, going from a non-drinking country to a drinking country. And then I came here to San Diego, went to USD, graduated from USD, and then went to China for a couple of years. And lived in China for a couple of years, built a company there, helped build a company there. And then I came back here and started another company. But San Diego is home now.
So San Diego's home. And you've been doing a lot of human rights activist work lately. And this is something that's come over the last 2 or 3 years. You told me about what's going on in China. Now, you lived in China, but you didn't know this was going on while you lived there, although I think you started to put the pieces together once you got back here and started learning. Well, tell us, what's happening in China that no one knows about, the news isn't covering. Tell us what's going on over there.
This is really shocking, actually, to me. And as you were, when I heard about this, I was so shocked. I could not believe it. I was just wondering, this must be a lie. A lot of people might have heard this myth around organ harvesting. And most people think that it's not done by a government. It's always like these organ trades. Unfortunately, there's systematic organ harvesting going on in China right now. And it's done by the government to prisoners of conscience. And people think, oh, these are death row criminals that have killed someone. And this is actually prisoners that they're sitting in a labor camp in thousands, and they're getting tested. Their tissue type, their blood type is getting tested on a systematic, consistent basis. And when foreigners from here or rich Chinese people want to get a transplant done, they go to China. In a couple of weeks, they have access to these people. Unfortunately, these people get killed, and their organs are sold to those individuals. And it's all done through their hospital system.
So what's happening is, and you should look this up, if you question it at all, look up the documentaries. We'll provide you some great links and some really good resources here shortly. But there are doctors who have come forward. There are people who are in these labor camps who have sent notes through toys that they are making in these labor camps. There are patients who have come forward and said, yeah, I was scheduled to do a heart transplant 2 weeks out. And other doctors have said, that's not possible. You can't schedule a heart transplant 2 weeks from now. How do you know you're going to have a good heart? Well, the only way you could possibly know that is if you were taking that heart from a live person. So when he says organ harvesting, what we're talking about people who are imprisoned in China. They're imprisoned by the government, and they are then have their organs stolen from them. They're killed, and those organs are then sold. So it's basically an organ business. And the numbers, if you look at how many organs are coming from China, you can see this extreme increase in the number of organs used in transplants that are coming from China.
Absolutely. So China is has the second highest number of transplants, and it doesn't have an organ donation system. And the numbers just don't make any sense. And when the investigation started, actually, the investigation around this organ trafficking transplantation issue was done by 2 human rights lawyers. I don't know if you've heard their name, David Kilgore, and he was the former Secretary of State for the Canadian Parliament, and David Matas, a famous human rights lawyer for Amnesty International. They did the study in 2006. They found 52 counts of evidence that this is really happening. And ever since then, they've been going around different countries, and they're presenting their evidence, and they're convincing countries to ban organ tourism. So a lot of countries, and actually European Union Parliament has issued a motion to condemn this act.
But they won't admit that it's happening. And
The
that's the problem.
Yeah, the
right?
Chinese government is still saying, initially they were saying this is not happening at all. Now they're saying these are death row prisoners, meaning that these people have killed others or they have conducted other crimes. That's where the Chinese government is standing.
So what actually happened, though, is the people that have been essentially kidnapped, imprisoned, are a specific type of person. In other words, they are of a certain spiritual belief that was running rampant in China. They had 100 million people that were practicing this, and the government became scared of that. They became worried that they were going to lose power to the spiritual practice, which is a very peaceful practice. And this is the thing that's really interesting to me as I dove into this and you've explained these things to me. The people who practice this spiritual practice called Falun Dafa, right?
Yeah.
They believe that if someone does something bad to them, that it's actually good for their soul, so to speak. It's good for their karma. So if I punch you, then that's me giving you my good karma and you giving me your bad karma. So they chose a group of people who actually believe that it's good for them if bad things are happening to them, essentially, and as an underlying concept of their karmic beliefs. So they pick the perfect people to do this to, so to speak. Because if you were going to imprison a people, this is the one to do it to. And they're also not very vocal, about the things that are happening to them. So this has been going on for how long now?
For 16 years now.
16 years.
Yes.
This has been happening. I've never heard of this until I heard of it from you. Never seen anything on the news, even though there's been, as you said, the European Parliament has acknowledged this, passed a resolution. There's been multiple things in the Congress, United States Congress.
Yeah.
In fact, there's something going right now, isn't
Yeah, House Resolution 343 they just put that, they introduced it by 9, it was co-sponsored by 9 congressmen. And our goal is to get that finally passed and get the Chinese government to stop this act. But what's going on is the people that are targeted, actually they're practicing this spiritual practice called Falun Gong, Falun Dafa, as you mentioned. They believe in living by truth, compassion, and forbearance, and putting other people above themselves all the time. So if anybody does any harm to you, you just forbear it, and you let it go, and you have compassion for the people. And it's really sad that this is happening to these people, that are really good people. At the same time, a lot of times those labor camps, there is news that comes out of them that they have to change the prison guards, because when the prison guards are torturing these people and see how compassionate they are to them, they realize that they're doing something wrong. So every few years or every few months, the Chinese government has to change all these people that are torturing the Falun Gong practitioners. So
which is so interesting, because it's a communist country that is performing this horrific act, literally a modern day Holocaust, for money. They're doing it for money.
Absolutely. And they're estimated that they're making $1 billion a year from this practice. The hospitals are making money from it. The military is making money from it. All of these people, they're middlemen that are making money from this practice. And a lot of these people that are within the system, the act that they're doing, some of these surgeons that, going in and doing the surgery on killing someone for making money and taking their body parts and putting it in somebody else. It's just, the act is such a evil act for making money that it shows where the communism in China has gone.
Yeah, great stuff. Cmac, thank you so much for coming here today and shedding light on this issue. You can do your part just by simply going and liking the Facebook page on the link below right here. It's facebook.com/helpstoporganharvesting. And if there's anything that you can do to help, I know it's not a thing of donations, we're not asking for money, nothing like that, but if you can just like this page and share it with your friends, we want to get the word out. We want people to know what's really happening. I think everyone on this planet deserves a fair shot at life, and these people are not getting that. Appreciate you doing that for us. Thank you for watching Smarter San Diego TV. Stick around.